What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this channel that's all about architecture, engineering and construction, and we are about bettering the African narrative. So today we are just going to be making a quick tour of one of our projects. Looking at it right now, I'm at the front of it. It's a project I think we posted some couple of months ago. So everything was done and completed, including the approvals and all that. So if you have to look carefully, right now I'm just going to enter in and take you through a tour, and of course, as is our culture, to explain a few technical things that might be of good information to you. This channel is where you literally find all the information you need to know about real estate and construction in Uganda, and of course across many other African countries, because I'm pretty sure that most of these construction methods that we use here in Uganda are commonly used in still many other African countries. Okay, so when you find yourself here, just know you're in the right place to know all the information, both technical and non-technical, about construction in Uganda. And also, if you're a returning subscriber, we are very happy to have you, and we look forward to having you even more and more and more. Otherwise, we're just going to go right into the video. Both of you who are contractors and all those who are clients, so that even though you are not an engineer, you can have some bit of knowledge about construction, so that when it comes to your turn, you're not 100% blunt about everything. Yeah. So I might not be able to have good mobility, but this is the entry foyer. It's the entry foyer, and then we have a balcony right there. That's the balcony. So right now we are at the stage of doing the formwork for the slab, and also so later on the slab will be cast in about a week and a half or two. About a week and a half from now. Okay. So I'm just going to take you through. This is the entry foyer. Let me just enter through this small. Then I'll enter from here. But ideally, this would have been the main entry foyer, like this, as you can see, which also has an access to this balcony that you can see here. So this being the balcony, and that being the main door of the living area, as you can see properly. Okay. So this is the door that you use to actually access the house. So when you enter through here, you see you have a living room over there. It might look small in this wide angle, but you have about 25 square meters space. Okay. So this is an entry foyer, as you can see. Then, as you can see right there, we have the stairs. Okay, that's the early iron bars for the stairs that come from the foundation, which is also very important. I think I'll talk about it later. So right here we have our dining, and then we have our kitchen. You can see the lighting is good. We have very large windows. As you can see, we have also a large window here. Then we have access into our living area. I don't know if I can access it, but this is the living area. Right, so the TV is on this wall as well. Something of that sort. So I'm just going to walk through the foyer or the gallery. So just a hint. Right here, you can put a lot of artwork, so that whoever is coming into the house, they can have a lot of artwork at that point. Then over here, this is still the living room, as you can see. About 26 square meters of space. And then we have the stairs here. Then right under the stairs, the reason why you see this pipe right here is this pipe is going to be a toilet under the stairs. That's why we provided for this pipe, so it can act as a drain pipe for the toilet. So moving out, on this side we have a prayer room. A prayer room is right here, and then here we have a bedroom. This bedroom is like a guest bedroom. It has a balcony here. There's a bit of timber, but if you look carefully, there's a balcony here that comes just like this and corners there. So we have this as the bedroom, which is also self-contained. We have a closet in this space, a built-in closet. Then we have a spacious bathroom, as you can see. So in this bathroom, here we have a wash hand basin. We are still contemplating where to put it here or to put it right there. Then we have the toilet here. That's why you actually see this pipe that's there. Then we have the shower cabin right here, the shower cabinet. Okay. This is basically on the ground floor. Usually there's not so much on the ground floor. So when I go all the way straight and take you through to the rest of the area, at the end of this video, I'm going to be taking you through just a few technical things that you might need to know, that might be of importance to you to know. So right now we are again in the kitchen. Okay, we have a foyer here that leaves the kitchen. So as you exit the kitchen, you have a pantry space over there, and then you also have a balcony at the back of the house, like you can see. Then we have a laundry here. This is a laundry room. That's why we provided also for that pipe, as you can see. That's going to be draining water either from a washing machine or whether it's using hands, but we provided for that. Then outside of the laundry, we have a maid's room. It's going to be the maid's room. Okay. Let's see, go again into the foyer and into the living room. So go through to this balcony. You see there's also a pipe here. I think this is the right time to explain about these pipes. So what we do as a company, we always have checklists so that whichever engineer is on the site has to follow that checklist as a measure of quality control. Now, that quality control, not that they don't know what to do, but the reason why we have that checklist is just to make sure that everything is considered at the time when it should be considered. Right here is a duct. As you can see, that's going to be taking the pipe, the pipe work that comes from the first floor mainly. Okay. So that checklist, I was thinking about the checklist. So the engineer who is responsible for that site specifically has to sign that checklist at every stage of construction before we go very far or before we conclude on that stage. For example, when we are setting out the foundation of the building, before we set out the columns, after we've marked all the points where the columns are supposed to be, before we cut the bases and establish the columns where they're supposed to be, we have to check the square of the building. I'm just going to show you a sample. The reason why we check the square of the building is to make sure that all the lines which are meant to be at right angles are actually at right angles. Yeah, just to use something small as a sample. Let's take an example of this laundry area. Okay, so we have, let's say, about 2 meters here, about 2.3. Then we also have about 2.3 meters, and about another 2.3 meters, and another 2.3 meters. So there's a possibility of having all these being the exact dimensions, but these edges of the building are actually not on square. They are not at right angles. So before we establish the columns, we have to make sure, using the Pythagoras theorem, those who have done some early math can understand it. So when you get the square of this area and the square of this area, they are supposed to be equal to the square of the diagonal that comes from here and joins all the way there. Now, if that is not taken into consideration at the time of construction, you find that when you are laying your tiles, for example, in this format, like this or like that, you will notice in some houses that maybe the tile gap at this point is very narrow and it goes on expanding towards one of the corners. That's because the building was not exactly on square. Okay, so when you don't have those checks done, construction can still proceed, and the human eye might not be able to see it at this stage, but when you reach the point of putting tiles, you will see that error, and it's difficult to go back on that. Now, of course, if you did not know so much, if you didn't know probably about that, and it was already done in your house like that, one of the ways that we can curb that is by laying tiles in a diagonal format, such that errors like those are not easily noticed by the human eye. Okay. Then probably the other thing that we need to talk about is the plumbing works. For example, before we cast the slab, one of the reasons why it's difficult to cast the slab on the exact planned date is because that checklist has to be marked out and it has to be signed by the engineer that is responsible for the site, taking responsibility that everything has been checked according to the company standards. For example, and not only just checking that the pipe works for all the wet areas have been provided for. For example, in this balcony, there's that pipe that is going to be draining just the slab, this ground floor. So besides checking the pipe work, we also have to check the bends. You have to make sure that there are as less bends as possible in the pipe work. Okay. For example, if this pipe is supposed to drain all the way, let me just show you, and go all the way in a straight line, right like this. It's supposed to drain somewhere from outside, just like you can see there. It is supposed to literally be straight, so that in case it gets blocked, or there's anything that has happened, maybe someone threw pieces of paper there or whatever it is that can clog a pipe, this part can easily be accessible, so that when you put a rod inside to just clean it up or to declog it, it goes all the way straight to the next bend, which is the other one. And then also, if it's to be repaired from this side, it also needs to be like that. So we literally need, as a maximum, just one bend. So when you find that any pipes that have been done in a way that there are many bends, it's difficult to repair when the construction has been completed, because there are those corners that can't be accessed by anything. That's also part of the checklist. Then the other thing that we check for, one of them is the steps in the balcony slabs. If you're to notice, let me just take you through. You'll see that there is a bit of a step here. This might not be so clear. Let me just take you to one of the steps. For example, while you are leaving the house, and then you see right here, there is a step, okay? Same as just here, as you can see, there is a step, right? So the reason why we do those steps is because whenever it rains, and maybe water is just around here before it maybe drains into the flow traps and all that, just before it drains, there's a possibility that it can become a little much more. So we always put these barriers here, such that water cannot easily splash into the house or easily flow into the house, even when they are mopping the outside balcony. So it's very sensitive for all the wet areas, including bathrooms. Though for bathrooms, that can be done at the stage of tiling, but for things like balconies, it's important to put those little steps there that prevent water from the balconies from backflowing into the house. And then probably the other thing that also we need to check for in the checklist is the level of the slab. So before we touch this slab, this very slab that we are standing on, we do it in such a way that we make sure it is exactly horizontal. What does that mean? That the level from this very point up to the last level of the house needs to be exactly on level. If it's not on level, that means when I pour water here, there's a possibility that water can slant to one side. Of course, for bathrooms, it might be a bit different, but the level in bathroom can be manipulated at the stage of tiling. When you tile them in such a way that there's just a very, very little slant that goes to the area where the water is supposed to be drained from. But one of the things that we look out for on our checklist is the level. Just make sure that the whole building is on level. Otherwise, I hope you guys have had much to learn from this video. Please comment on the video, let us know your concerns, let us know what you've learned, and thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a good time.